If you're looking for one of the most unique front grille options currently available for that 2018 and newer GT or EcoBoost powered Mustang for right around 250 bucks, the MMD upper grille here should be on your short list of grills to consider. Now the MMD grille will combine a horizontal bar design for the center portion here while leaving these ends open for increased airflow. Materials will be injection molded thermoplastic, and the install will not involve any cutting or permanent modification, but will require a fair amount of work to get everything swapped over. So because of that, the site is going to kick this one up to a soft 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter and call it a couple of hours to complete from start to finish. But as always, hang with me till the end of the video and we'll show you how it's done. So even though the 2018 and newer Mustangs are pretty much awesome in every way, one spot that leaves a lot of owners kind of scratching their heads, including me, was the addition of that bright gloss factory grille, which, let's face it, doesn't flow with any of the surrounding plastic at all. Therefore, it's one of the big areas owners oftentimes address first through the aftermarket, using parts like this and other options that you might encounter here in the category. But with all that said, let's talk about the MMD grille a little bit more. And full disclosure, guys, their grille game has been on point ever since the release of the V-Series parts for the first S550s that the company debuted back at the 2014 SEMA show. And this grille here for the 2018 and newer cars adheres to a very similar recipe. And that's going to be the pony deleting horizontal bar design for the middle portion, while the snorkels here on the end, if you will, are left open. And altogether, I'd say it makes for a pretty killer look. Now they've actually thinned the bars down a little bit in the middle here for the 2018 and newer design compared to the early S550, but the idea generally remains the same. Of course, grabbing the matching lower grille also from MMD will really help complete the look, and if that is something you are interested in, we do offer combos here on the site for both upper and lower together. Feel free to check those out if you will. Now, the gang over at MMD did use that factory Ford CAD data to come up with a perfect fit here. While materials are going to be 100% TPO or injection molded thermoplastic, which to my hands, guys, feels a bit more sturdy compared to some of the other ABS options that you might encounter here in the category. But now let's talk about how to get this sucker installed, and to do so, here is one of my AM bros to walk you through everything, including a quick tool breakdown.
Tools used for this installation: push pin removal tool, ratcheting 10mm socket, 1/4 inch drive, 1/4 inch extension, 5.5mm socket, 7mm socket, 8mm socket, 10mm socket. Optional is an impact. All right, your first step is to pop the hood. All right, now we're going to remove the 8 push pins holding the radiator support in. All right, then we're going to remove this panel. All right, now we're going to be removing the 8 bolts that are on top of the bumper. This is a 5.5mm and this is an 8. There are only 2 5.5mm. They are on the corners. Now we're going to switch to the 8mm. All right, now that we're underneath the car, we're going to be removing the belly pan, and we're going to be using a 7mm socket on a lot of these screws here. There's roughly 18 of them and a couple of clips. So let's get started. All right, now we're going to be removing some of the clips on the inner fender and then underneath into the tray. We're gonna start up here and work our way in. And there's one underneath here as well. We're gonna do the same thing on the opposite side. All right, now that I have the last couple of clips left, I'm going to carefully, with one hand, support the bulk of it and remove my last pin. And then we could drop the tray from underneath the car. All right, now that we're on the inside of the fender, you can see the two nuts securing the bumper to the quarter panel. I'm using a 10mm ratcheting wrench to remove these nuts. It's gonna look the exact same on the passenger side as well. All right, now before we remove the bumper, we're gonna unplug our fog light and turn signal. We're gonna do that on the other side as well. All right, now I have a friend helping out. We are going to remove the bumper. First step is to peel back the top, get that off the retaining studs. And then we're gonna pull on the corner of the bumper. Lift up and away. All right, now we're gonna be removing the plastic bumper brace before we can remove the factory grille. This is held on by 6 plastic tabs that we're just going to pop off of here. All right, now we're gonna be removing our factory grille. You can see the plastic tabs that run all along the top, the sides, and the bottom. You are gonna be pushing upward on the tab to release it from the grille. Again, I'm using a trim panel removal tool. This will help you out. The bottoms come down. Our tabs are a little beat up from us changing the grills out. All right, now we're ready to install our new grille. I'm just gonna slide it into place, aligning our tabs, top and bottom, and then you can work on sliding it over those tabs. You should hear those audible snaps to let you know it's in place. Good idea to get a hand in the back. All right, it's as easy as that. It just snaps right back into place, and then we're gonna put our plastic bumper brace back into place. Start the middle on this one. And then MMD did include new tabs for this on that new grille. So it should just snap right back into place. Just like that. And now it's ready to install in your car. All right, now with a buddy, we're gonna reinstall our bumper with new grills. Now both of us have a nut we are going to put back on the top of the bumper just to make sure it does not fall off. All right, now before we put our splash shield back on, we're going to reconnect our fog light and turn signal on both sides. All right, now we're going to reinstall our splash shield. And we are going to slide it up into the front of the chin. I'm going to use both hands for this. Get the corner over here as well. Slip that in, and then slip the front. Bring that forward. Now to keep it into place right now, I'm going to put the 2 push pins in the back in, and up like that. And then we're gonna finish off with all the screws and the clips on the inner fender well. All right, we're gonna be putting our 7mm screws back in. All right, next we're gonna be moving up to the inner fenders and putting the body clips in that. All right, now we're gonna install our push pin. All right, now we're gonna put our second nut back onto the corner of the bumper and secure these down with our 10mm ratcheting wrench. All right, now we're gonna install our hardware for the top of the bumper. These are 8mm. All right, now we're going to do the two 5.5mm on the corner. All right, now we're going to reinstall the last piece. All right, that's going to wrap up my install of the MMD Grille. For all things Mustang, keep it here at AmericanMuscle.com.